events and issues shaping our community. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
We are not in the studio. We're in Tallahassee for these series of Comcast Newsmakers discussing children's issues. And our guest this hour, Kristin Vallese from the Florida Children's Services Council. And thanks very much for joining us. It's good to have you here.
Thanks.
Children's Week, a big time for all child advocacy type of organizations, you being no exception. What was your main theme during this session?
Really, our main theme this session has been unfortunately slightly derailed because of a bad bill that was filed early on in session. Senate Bill 1216 by Senator Negron. What we had hoped to focus on this session was making good investments in children and making long-term strategic investments in children. What our board had set as their priority for this year was looking at building a framework for investments in children early on.
When something like that happens, how do you regroup?
Well, we've got to address the concerns that we have with this bill first. Unfortunately, that has taken a majority of our time this session. Our time and resources is trying to educate lawmakers on what this bill has the potential to do in terms of harmful effects to children's services councils across the state.
And you've been successful so far?
It continues to move through the Senate process, unfortunately. On the House side, it did receive a tie vote and it died in the House committee there. But we're remaining vigilant. The senator has vowed to pass it this year.
Let's talk about the Children's Services Council, and that's something that is throughout the entire state and has taken on many forms.
The Children's Services Councils are single-purpose local governments. They're special taxing districts. They were approved by the voters in their counties. There are 8 independent Children's Services Councils that we represent, the Florida Children's Services Council here in Tallahassee. About 3 or 4 years ago, the board decided that they really wanted a strong presence in Tallahassee and they wanted to get serious about making investments in children and early learning and those kinds of things. They established the office in Tallahassee, and Vivian Aller-Khan is the CEO, and I work with Vivian. And our main charge here in Tallahassee in establishing this office was to ensure strong investments in children and to try and work with state lawmakers to talk about developing a framework of early investments in children.
And we're talking early investments, early childhood education is a big priority of your organization, right?
Correct. Early childhood investments is a priority for the CSCs around the state. A large portion of their budgets, millions of dollars, go into early learning programs, school readiness, after school. That's a big part of the CSC portfolio.
And you feel that that makes a big difference in the future of a child?
Absolutely. CSCs are about prevention and intervention. They fund programs on the front end that reduce the reliance on more costly state-funded programs on the back end, like juvenile justice and foster care. They set the tone and set these kids on the right track early on so that they're healthy and they're ready to learn and can succeed in life and succeed as citizens of the state.
Are we where we need to be right now, or we have a ways to go?
I think we have a ways to go. We're making some progress in some areas. I think there are some legislators who recognize that there are needs, and there are some legislators, Senator Dan Rich, who regularly steps up to the plate for children. But I think there's more to be done, and we're hoping that we can continue to work with legislators.
This has been a unique legislative session, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Because of the budget issues.
The budget issue is always a strain, and the CSCs are interested in a partnership with the state to address those issues for children.
All right, well, thank you very much. This hour's newsmaker has been Kristin Vallese. She's with the Florida Children's Services Council, as we come to you from Tallahassee, the state capital. For Comcast Newsmakers, I'm Spiro Canton. Thanks for joining us.